So today, I'm making a quick video. Maybe it might be a longer video. Anytime I say something's quick, it's not. So I just want to talk about today, like Egregores, Chainsaw Man. I want to talk about Brave New World, 1984, emotional patterns, building off of what we talked about yesterday, and just kind of painting a picture for what we're facing, right? And it all started because, I didn't think I was gonna have time to put a video out, but we had a stabbing at school, like shit ton of fights, and you ultimately get desensitized to that. I had a student even write to me today, like, the school is just so it's filled with danger and negativity that, like, you got to be able to rise above it. And she's like, I'm not gonna fall victim, and I'm just like, I'm proud of her and I want to push her because it's not fair, and it's just like, for me, like, I got coworkers who gave up and they don't give a shit. Like, all this stuff they have, they don't give a fuck anymore, right? They're just going to go home, drink, smoke it off, whatever, right? Then complain about, the system. Like, if you can't stay present, right, and be able to rise above it, you're going to just stay in that emotional loop. I keep hearing some lady yell. You're going to stay in that emotional loop, and then you're going to make excuses of why you could never rise above, right? So, like, me, if I were to go home and just drink every day, and then I'm just make excuse after excuse. And then that's how you stay in that emotional pattern. And then you're going to just get more and more negative. And then you're stuck in that emotional loop. And then it's like you're starting all the way from ground zero again. So you got to find a right way to rise above it. But I also wanted to talk about, I'm all for movements. Gen X thinks they can be the one generation to finally make a change. But like I said in the last video, man, when you realize that the architect and the oracle are the reason why the Neo was able to be the one. The system has to make a change. You can't make the change. You can change yourself to be in position. So what the movie's saying is, Neo made himself in a position to be able to be the one. That's what you need to do with yourself. You need to put yourself in a position to be the one. And then if the system calls your number like a jersey, then you might have to step up. But it's not for you. You know what I mean? We can't think that we can just do whatever. I'm not saying that I'm not going to hold my students to a higher standard, hold my friends to a higher standard, have my girlfriend to a higher standard. We're going to push each other. We're going to pour into each other. But if a student can't give me more than what I'm going to give them, like, I can't. I have, this is a life, like, what am I going to waste? All my energy on one person? There's hundreds. Got to move on to the next. All right, next one. That's the reality of the system. Even if we were in a perfect society, the system wouldn't waste it on just, whatever kids, you know what I mean? Like if we were in a perfect ideal society, they would, like, the giver, right? I'm saying hypothetically, the giver would be like, all right, you're going to be this person. You're going to be at the bottom of the totem pole. It's no matter what society, you can try to put it nicely as much as you want, but it's just the facts. So I say that because Brave New World, 1984, two different belief systems, right? So 1984 is of the belief that restrictive movement or restriction is going to lead to government control, right? Where you got no books, no technology, complete spying on citizens and things of the like. But get this. Near the end of the book, he realizes that, there's nothing he can do. This was all for naught. And he was set up anyway, right? He realizes that he was set up in the beginning, So, Brave New World is of the ideology that Brave New World's about the excess of having all the things, right? Access to pleasure, knowledge, which is why I want to, and you're thinking, how does this correlate to today's video? Because it all correlates, because if they have access to unlimited information, which is what we have now when a UFO happens, or aliens, they say aliens exist, and all these information, nonstop information. But get this, I'm scrolling and learning new things every day. It gets drowned out. Nobody even cares anymore. I'm just going to keep scrolling. Oh, aliens exist? Okay, cool. Giants exist? Okay, cool. You can just keep going on. Nobody cares anymore because of excess. And what excess leads to is the dulling of the mind. The dulling of the mind And then that's ultimately what, Brave New World, they have a drug to stay present because they're flooded with excess. So they have to have something that's stay present. And that's like, like in the book, like, I think there's a part where like they're about to like get invaded or whatever, and they're just like stay present, like, because the reality is, just like right now, I'm on the front lines with these Gen Xers, and this is going to tie into the egregores. So you have Gen X believing that the world's going to be over, there's no point to anything, right? That egregore becomes so large that it inhibits their bodies. Then they believe there is no point to anything. So they just succumb to it, and they're on the Brave New World frequency. They're just like, hey, keep scrolling. Nothing matters about anything. And that's why I also had Chainsaw Man in this, and I just want to break down a small little egregore. Like a little egregore is just something like, which is actually a funny one, is like, back in the day, it used to be women had to be, makeup, hair done, look good for the man, and the man had to be a provider and take care of the woman for everything. That was like it was so stigmatized that it was like to the point where like everybody believed it, like kind of like at birth, like you just were indoctrinated at birth, like it encompassed you. Because and I think the egregores are so deep that it's like, if your family household believes the egregores, well, you're born into that bubble too. Now you believe it, right? It's almost like ingrained in you. And like there's some beliefs that you might have that you don't even know where they came from. You just believe them, right? But if you're in a household with parents who believe indoctrination, who are indoctrinated, then you're indoctrinated. But I say that because that's like a small example of an egregore. So if the whole world right now, which is all on the same frequency of like thinking the world's going to end, there's no point to anything, we're getting downloaded with excess information, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything because nobody still can do anything. Nobody can rise above. It's kind of crazy because everybody thinks that we're living in 1984 and we're actually living in the quite opposite. We're in excess of everything, baby. You can find out anything you want. And get this, still doesn't change the fact that you're not going to do nothing about it. Crazy. That's the reality. And how does this all tie into Chainsaw Man? Chainsaw Man's about, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's about like, what it's really about is about egregores becoming so big that they become physical bodies. And, their power depends on how many people believe in them. So in the gun devil, so imagine like right now the gun. It's called the gun devil, but you got to break it down to a different level. So it's called the gun devil, but what it really is if you believe in guns, right? There's a gun problem in America. Everybody believes that. They're so scared of it, it becomes an actual devil, right? A physical form of a devil. And it makes a contract with a human being. And when it becomes in a contract with a human being, it becomes even stronger. So the power correlates to how much people fear it. It's not like, is that not exactly what we're living in now? What we're living in today? What? It all correlates. It's crazy what we're living in right now, what we're up against. So you have to kind of reach a point of stasis where like you have to be so balanced out, so dopamine like up. And I mean dopamine up in a sense of like dopamine sensitive, because you need to be able to digest your own thoughts, your beliefs, like caught up. It's kind of like I said, like there can be no backlog of emotions. Like I'm being so for real when I say that like now. Like we cannot afford to be able to go through a day on autopilot. Like there is no more autopilot. Like no more autopilot. Because if you do that, I'm not saying it's over, but like then you're down a day, then you're back a day, and you're back the next day. Like you have to digest everything as it's going currently. Be present as fuck in your day. Like I know you can do it. I know I sound crazy right now, but you have to be more present in your life than anything. It's like dangerous times. Like the minute you slip, you're entering into an egregore. I'm telling you. Like that's how dangerous it is right now. Like, it's spiritual warfare. And what happens when you get caught up in that egregore is you're technically, when you get caught up in that egregore, since it's a thought and it's a reality and it's becoming so big, it's a reality, you're now aligning with the beliefs of the reality. And let's say that reality, everybody gave up and there's no point in trying no more. Next thing you know, you're depressed as fuck, and then you commit suicide. It's a way of getting you to kill yourself without even having any way of doing it. It's like we're at another level of war that we've never seen before. What do they say in Tenet? It's a cold war, cold as ice, right? That no one even knows it's happening right now. Like, it's the same shit. Like, it's just like I said with Matrix. Matrix, the war's already going on behind the scenes, but it didn't break out into the 3D, into the Neo in Matrix, in Neo's world. The war is already going on. Sorry, I'm getting passionate, but I'm good. I'm bringing that hype, bringing that passion, because I'm telling you, man, it is dangerous out here, and you see it every day. Like, I'm on these front lines with these kids. There's no life. There's no spark. There's nothing. Nothing. We're living in scary, unprecedented times. You know, Chinua Achebe says, you know, when the Igbo people get colonized, right? And then some of the Igbo people, these are Africans, right? And some of the Igbo, and when the Igbo people, right? Because there's a thing, you can't kill, even if you accidentally kill another Igbo person, you get exiled, right? And he's saying, in the book, he goes, we're in unprecedented times where the law says we cannot kill a brother. But when, or, you know, a family member, or, you know, another member of the Igbo tribe, but when the enemy is the Igbo, because you remember the first people to get colonized, see, a lot of people don't know, when the whites came over and they colonized Africa, how it worked was like some of the Africans got colonized, and what Chinua Achebe tries to paint. I know we're getting off topic, but this actually speaks to the larger issue. Chinua Achebe tries to paint that, hey, there were a lot of problems wrong with African religion, and when the whites came over, it wasn't like they got forced to convert to Christianity. You know, like Chinua says, like, hey, like, some of the Africans were told, like, hey, if you had twins, that was a thing of, hey, you have an evil spirit. You have evil spirits. You got to kill the babies. What if the mom didn't want to kill those babies? And what if a white dude comes over and says, hey, my religion, you don't got to kill your babies. Did she get forced to convert? No. Is that not speaking to the bigger issue of, so he's saying we're in unprecedented times when our own people, our own family members are converting, and we have to fight against them, but we can't. So we just have to sit here and take it. It's the same thing. We're in a time where, like, your own family, your own people, your own existence is literally being fought over. And you don't really know how to fight, but the only way you can fight this war is by not giving up on yourself, believing in yourself. And I will preach that message forever. I will preach it, I think, till the day I die. I will be like, believe in yourself. You can do it. Because no one is going to help you. You can do it. Take care of yourself. Listen. Even when you take care of yourself, there's always going to be a new challenge, a new struggle. And get this, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But right now, we got to take care of ourselves mentally, be present. All right. Excuse me. All right. Love you. Be safe.